So you can pause the recording for now.
All right. Here it goes. Rotary Club of Rot. I told you it was going to happen. uh, hello, Rotarians. My name is Harrison Turner. I hope everyone's doing well today. Welcome to our June 22nd Rotary Club of Raleigh meeting. How's everybody doing? Those claps are coming from those who realize that today is my last full Rotary meeting as president. So, oh no. Anyways, everybody's like, man, you made it. I'm like, actually, I think the club made it through my year more than I made it as president. So, honestly, thank you guys for being here today. As always, before we jump into things, I want to remind everybody, if you did park in the parking garage behind us, please scan the QR code so you don't get a nice little bill in the mail. And before we have our invocation and pledge, I wanted to, this is really my last true opportunity of being able to, this is a very hot mic. It's hot. I know you did. But this is my last real big opportunity of coming up, being able to be behind the pulpit preaching real quick. So there we go. There we go. But I was trying to think back of like, what could I leave with? And I'll leave with some thoughts next week as we kind of finalize our year in review and whatnot. But going back to the beginning of the year, the theme that I had for the club was everything matters. And as I looked back on LinkedIn this past week of all of the ribbons that were put around trees, all these small things that our club has done throughout the year, making a big impact, I keep on going back to that kind of that motto of everything matters to leave you with. And I was reminded about that, especially with like the story of Rotary. In 1905, for those new members who might not remember this off the top of your head, Paul Harris started Rotary. And he didn't just sit down saying, I'm going to create this large international organization that's going to impact the world for good. He just invited a few people together. That's all he did. He had a conversation, a relationship, a small beginning. But that small meeting that started back in 1905, someone showed up, and then someone else showed up. And then those people who showed up invited other people who then showed up. And then more than 100 years later, here we are sitting here in Raleigh as the Rotary Club of Raleigh, still carrying forward something that started because a few people believed that relationships mattered. Isn't that how Rotary service works? Very rarely do we go and sit underneath the full-grown trees that we plant seeds under. And I think that lines up very well with what John and in our club has done this year. Our club literally planted trees across our community. And I love the symbolism that because planting a tree is an act of faith. You dig a hole, you place something in the ground, you water it, you take care of it, and you trust that someday it's going to become bigger, something bigger than yourself. And that's what Rotary is. Maybe it's a member that's been encouraged here today, a meal that is served in our community, a volunteer hour that's given, a new member welcome to the club, a tree planted. None of these things by themselves feel like they're going to change the world, but consistently doing these small things over and over again truly matter. So as I end my year as president, I hope that every one of you in here remember this. Don't usher on small acts of service, because a seed eventually becomes a tree, a conversation, and eventually becomes a relationship. A relationship becomes a community, and a community can make a huge impact in the world. So I just hope that every one of you remember that today as you're here today. And I want to truly thank you for all being a part of this wonderful Rotary year under my presidency. John Gates, have you up, buddy?
Thank you, President. It's been a pleasure being fundraising chair with you. If you would stand, please, for the invocation, the pledge. We gather today as City of Oaks, thankful for the opportunity to serve our community. At the same time, celebrating the fact that we live in a free country and we're able to come together to seek out problems, big and small, that we can take action towards making the world a better place. We believe that we are stewards of about things, that cares about our city, that cares about our environment, determined to make a difference. We appreciate the opportunity to learn about the big things that Rotary does in Cambodia, coming together to make a difference. Thank you for the hands that prepared the food. We give thanks. Amen. I pledge of allegiance to the flag to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For space, for America, America, God shed His grace abroad from sea to shining sea.
Airline. That spells Rotary. There we go. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, moving on. It is my favorite part of our time together is getting to know our guests a little bit more. We're going to come around the room and introduce yourselves. If you are a guest, we're going to pass you the mic, and we'd love to hear what do you do and what brings you to Rotary. We're going to ask our president nominee, Jennifer, to come over. Thank you.
You're welcome. I will start this way. Right here.
David Olshinsky. I'm gonna be well, I just graduated from law school, so I'm studying for the bar. Hopefully that all goes well. I do have my second reading, which you want me to share.
That's good.
Okay.
We'll hear from you later. Yeah.
Hi, my name's Nick. I live here in Raleigh. I'm really grateful to be here. Who I work with in my practice as a lobbyist at the North Carolina General Assembly, and I work a lot on food issues, supporting farmers, as well as childcare. So I'm grateful to be here. Thank you.
Joseph.
Hi, I'm Joseph Soyfer. So I got invited here from Paul Watson. He just told me a little bit about that. I was like, that sounds like a great thing to be a part of. So thank you for having me.
Welcome.
I think that's everybody. Man, you came at a perfect time to move to North Carolina, winning, and I'm assuming we'll have a whole bunch of happy dollars for some other things that are happening in sports in this area later today. But thank you for being here. A quick update and reminder for everybody, you all should have, if you're participating in the Coffee with a Rotarian, you should have received an email from me today connecting you with the individuals in your group. So your goal now is to email back and forth with each other, figure out a time to either have a coffee or lunch, and just get to know each other more. I mean, Rotary is a lot of different things, but one of the things that Rotary is the community and the relationships we build. So really lean into that, get to know each other outside of what you do on a daily basis, you know, like if anybody has hidden talents, right? Things like that. Moving on, we have Randy for a foundation update. Randy. Yes, sir.
Thank you, President Harrison. So it's always a special occasion when we have an opportunity to celebrate fellow members whose service to the Rotary Foundation have risen to the level of recognition as a Paul Harris Fellow. Today we have 5, happy to say. 5 who have achieved that particular milestone. And I use the term milestone deliberately because it should be looked at as a milestone, not a destination. And ideally, I think our Rotary journey should be a series of milestones as we continue to work toward the betterment of the world and others and service. Kind of in illustrating that journey of series of milestones, happy to say we have a member here today who is actually a multiple Paul Harris Fellow member. And so I look forward to honoring that individual as well. For those who are new, the Paul Harris Fellow recognizes individuals who exemplify Rotary's humanitarian values and who have made significant financial contributions to the Rotary Foundation. It remains one of Rotary's most prestigious honors. Honorees today were selected because of their dedication to the foundation, and whether through service for the local community or dedication to global programs, they have made a lasting impact, and they should be very proud of that. Two quick examples of the impact that they have made, just to call on these out. In this past fiscal year, the foundation provided 74 disaster response grants and program awards totaling $1.8 million. This is for everybody that supports the foundation, so thank you. As well, 101 fellows from 48 countries began their studies at 8 Rotary Peace Centers, one, of course, right here in the Triangle, and I know John is very involved with that. And they provided program awards for the fellow, $5.2 million. So again, this is real impact thanks to you. So now, it is my true honor to invite our newest Paul Harris Fellows to the front to receive your pin and certificates. What I will do is when I call your name, come on up, and we'll pose here for a quick photo op, and then remain up front, and then we'll get a final group picture of everybody here. So first, calling up, drum roll please, Dan Daniel. Sure. Okay, thank you, Dan. And stay up here. Step over to and next up, Sevelin Smith. Thank you, Sevelin. Yeah, stay up front. We're going to go out. And then Mr. Mike Connery. Thank you. And celebrating a multiple Paul Harris Fellow, Eric Lark. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, so everybody come to the front quickly.
Get over to the right so we can get like in the middle of the banner. Yeah.
Oh, well,
Amazing.
brilliant.
We got it.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sevelin. Appreciate you. And finally, I do want to call out a couple of people who behind the scenes have championed the Paul Harris Fellow Program. That would be Kevin Summers, Tom Weber, Mary Moss. They have helped in ways that are significant. I thank them for that publicly. And then finally, if you are interested to become a Paul Harris Fellow, please come see me. And I'm happy to give you more information. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Sorry, almost forgot. We do have a Lester Woodall Society honoree. This is for those who have supported our local foundation up to a certain level. And so I'm going to invite Tom. I don't have a pin for this, so just a hearty handshake. That works. Okay, thank you.
All right, Randy, thank you for that presentation. And to all our Paul Harris Fellows, so much for all of the impact that you make to our local foundation, to the Rotary International Foundation that allows us to do those things that truly matter locally and abroad. Moving on, we have a service update by our very own James LaMancha. James? Were you on TikTok again? You were on TikTok again.
Thank you. All right, where am I? First off, just to clear up a rumor, every week I have the same outfit on, and someone said, "Do you own anything other than that shirt?" And every Monday I go right to the food bank from here. So just in case anyone was wondering, this is work attire. Slide. There we go. This in July, and it's going to be a service project on July 24th, which is a Friday, and it'll be from 10 in the morning to 7 at night. And it's like the Christmas bell ringing when we would do the bell for the Salvation Army. This year, which I believe we did it last year as well, it's going to be in the summertime. This year we raised $700 for the Salvation Army. So it's one day. We'll get the sign-up sheets soon, and I always found it fun because I get to learn about other Rotarians. It's like coffee with Rotarians. Whenever I rang the bell with somebody, I learned a lot about those people. So if you can sign up, help out. There's an army. In fact, we're going to be trying to bring in canned goods for them because I think Major Joe actually had to buy something like 100 boxes of cereal. They have so many people staying at the Salvation Army, and they're short on food. So we're going to send out something where specific items they're looking for. Maybe next week when we come in, if everyone can bring a couple of cans of, I guess, corn and things like that. But I'll get the list out. It'll go a long way. And I could tell you, having worked at the food bank, homeless, and often you're driving by them, and you don't really know a lot about them. But when you're working firsthand, just to give you a quick story, there was a young lady that came in the food bank, I guess a week ago or so. She had maybe a 6-month-old in the front, her backpack on, and she comes once a month, and my job is to give her as much food as I can, keeping in mind that there's 2 bags that I'm allowed to give her, and make sure to distribute the weight enough so that she can walk from the food bank to the bus stop and ultimately get home. This is a real issue, so let's try to help them out as much as we can. That would be awesome. Next thing we have, I'm going to skip over this for a second, and I'm going to go to the Ivy Brook Academy Pre-K, which I believe we have a teacher here. What is your name? Very nice to meet you. So what they have done is they're working with the students, and they're writing cards of hope, things to inspire the people that are homeless right now, or home insecure, as we like to call them, and bringing those cards to the Salvation Army, and it's lifting people's spirits. So this is something Linda introduced me to, and we'll get behind. This is something we'd like to do on a monthly basis, and we'll figure out how we can help the school as well. Awesome. Finally, other side of Raleigh, a show of hands, if you will. How many people use Instagram in this room, please? A lot less. All right, about 50%. This is a real grassroots organization. Now, people that know me know that I am a champion of children's causes as well as the homeless. And a gentleman from New Jersey just moved to Raleigh. His name is Tyree, and he has a marketing degree and tried to setting up a business here. But in the meantime, he's working security at Moore Square, and realized how many homeless just are around Moore Square. And a lot of them have incredible stories. So the other side of Raleigh is an Instagram post or page, if you can sign up for it. It's an opportunity to give them a voice. Follow it. See, I don't even know. I'm too old to know the lingo. Thank you, Jim. If you could follow them on Instagram. But when you hear their stories, it's incredible because, of course, there's a lot of mental illness out there. But a lot of the people that are on the streets are only like 1 or 2 bad lucks that have happened, and then they find themselves out. And their stories are really moving. And on July 16th, I believe it is, July 16th, they're doing an outreach where they're trying to help these different homeless with makeovers. It might be getting a haircut or buying a new pair of shoes, something that I'm going to be approaching, I guess, the new board next week or this upcoming week to discuss if there's a way of us getting involved. But if you could follow them, I think that would be brilliant. And I think that's all for me. Thank you. Thanks, man.
No worries. Thank you. Great. Wonderful. And I'm excited to back up for I did the bell ring. You saw a picture up last year for the July, Christmas in July bell ring. It was super hot outside, but I would challenge you guys. It's going to be hopefully, maybe it won't be hot. Maybe it'll be raining. I don't know what it is, but it's going to be in July, right? Just think back when you are in December and it's super cold outside and you're like, I have to read this bell. I wish I was warm. Here's your opportunity. Be outside. It's great. All right, Diamante could not be with us here today. He is still in training with his new job. So I get the opportunity of doing the membership update. So I'm going to try my best. How are we doing, Rotary Club? Let me get that one more time. How are we doing, Rotary Club? I love Diamante. Today we have our second reading for David Olshinsky. So David, I'll have you come on up, my friend. We had our first reading for David at our last meeting, but as a quick update for everyone, or a reminder, he mentioned it today, you just graduated from Campbell Law, you're taking the bar in July, and you are now serving for a clerk for Chief Justice Newby.
Starting in August, hopefully it goes well. Yeah.
There we go, starting in August, and as well as helping back at Campbell Law as a trial coach for their reading. He wasn't here. We have an opportunity, your second reading, we want to hear from you. So you're joining Rotary for a reason. We would love to hear, what's your why? Why Rotary?
Absolutely. So I recently decided that Raleigh is definitely the place I want to be. It was between here and home in Davidson County. It was a hard decision, but Raleigh's such a good city, and of course there's a reason why everybody's moving here. And I wanted to build my career, and there's no better way to do that than through joining organizations and then more meaningful connections through service. So that's exactly why I'm part of. That's what I want to be a part of. And also thank everybody for being so hospitable to me. Walking up, shaking my hand, it's been great.
That's awesome. Well, very good. If you can cut that and put that on our Instagram, just kidding. That's awesome. Great. For those who have not had an opportunity to introduce yourself yet to David, make sure to connect with him after the meeting, grab a coffee, connect with him. But David, thanks so much for being here. We're looking forward to having you part of the club.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Beautiful. Now, I believe we have our own John Cates up for a fundraising update or review of some fun, exciting things that have been happening.
Thank you, President Harrison. Hey, I want to give a big thanks to everybody that came out and had last Saturday before last. We didn't know it, we were actually decorating the parade route of the Stanley it was a really great event. Special thanks to Richard and to James and to Harrison and to Charles and everybody that Jim Graham that lifted up and said, come. We had people that came from garden clubs in Raleigh. We had Girl Scouts that came. We had people from what's the leadership, Raleigh? Leadership Triangle. Corporate people. It truly was a community event, and we had the chance to see the mayor. I don't know if we got her. There's James, I think, Pete decorating her son, and there's yours truly with my grandson on Father's Day. We went to Mecca for brunch, and we stopped by Moore Square to check out the tree ribbons. So it's just been really a great event. While we're coming up on the 4th of July in America 250, we're not finished with the campaign. We've raised over $80,000. We're going to plant well in excess of 250 trees. We'll be working with the board to figure out exactly what we're going to do and where the money's going to go. We have several tree planting opportunities lined up in the fall. So there's some really important places that are barren of trees that are along greenways, along highways, and so we'll be working on that. It's not too late to sponsor a tree. It's not too late to buy a t-shirt with small, medium, and large left, not many. And most of all, thank you guys for all your support this year. It's been really tremendous. I've been in awe of the enthusiasm people have had, the amount of money they've given, we love our country, we love our community, and I think that's the thing that we're witnessing with Rotary. Rotary wants to make a difference in the world, in our community, and you'll hear in a moment about in the world. So again, thank you. Our fundraising success has been due to Chuck, Charles, and James, and everybody in this room. So thank you very much.
Great job. Beautiful. Moving on to birthdays and anniversaries. Maddie's, yours is coming up. Happy birthday on the 27th. Frank Manali is on the 28th, and no anniversaries coming up until our next meeting. All right, and then quick update meetings for the next couple of weeks. As you know, next week is the turnover of new officer installation. Make sure to hear for that. It's supporting Tommy as he comes in as the active president. Also celebrating the great work that our club has done, board members, and just celebrating each and every one of you. I truly hope that you guys feel really appreciated next week because honestly, it's all the work you guys have done. So I'm looking forward to celebrating all that. We don't have any meeting on the 6th, of course, of July because of the observance of July 4th. And on the 13th of July, we have Lemuel Hubbard, who is the Deputy Fire Marshal of Raleigh. And then after that, we've got Adrian Cole, who's the CEO of the Raleigh Chamber of Commerce. So Tommy's starting us off well with some really good speakers. Now moving on to the raffle. John, come back up.
Thank you, thank you. The raffle today, the big prize is $662, I believe, if you win the Ace of Clubs in the drawing. We're going to hold some cards here and some tickets. Hold on just a second. Would you draw a ticket for us? Thank you so much. Drum roll, please. The winning number is 144557. Come on forward, it's Big Dan, Big Dan. Congratulations, Dan. Thank you very much. Great. It's now your opportunity to get the big money.
All right.
That's the small money.
This is the small money.
Yeah.
There is no such thing.
No such thing as
Not
small
in the
money.
nonprofit.
So pick a card, any card. Queen of Diamonds. Queen of Diamonds. The pot will grow bigger. Thank
There
you,
we go.
Dan. Thank you to everybody for participating.
Yes, indeed. There we go. Congratulations, Dan. And all right, here's our time. I know we got Charlie back in the room. Charlie, would you love to do some happy dollars for us, sir? I would love that. Thank you so much. And I know that there's probably we already got money coming up all over the place for happy dollars.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, President Harrison. Okay, I know Eric in the back. Yes, sir. Eric Stevens.
Start with a happy dollar for the Hurricanes. I cannot think of a more satisfying fan experience than following them, trying for the past 8-10 years and finally doing it this year. And my wife and I went to the parade and just had the best time. And to be right around, 150,000 of our closest friends cheering the Canes on was really special. So go Canes. The other super exciting news that I have is that my son FaceTimed me with his girlfriend on Thursday night that they have just gotten engaged. So we're super excited for them, and we already feel like we have a new member of the family for a long time, but I'm glad they're making it official.
Right. Congratulations, Eric. That's some happy time. Oh, you gonna? Oh, I'm sorry, Corey. Forgive me.
Hello, everyone. My name is Corey Fuse. I have two happy dollars today, two separate ones. Number one, I'd like to congratulate my partner for finishing her fellowship at Duke in oncology. That being said, my second happy dollar is at the end of the month. We'll be moving to Boston, Massachusetts. Yeah, she has a job offer at Harvard's Mass General Hospital in the oncology department, which is top 2 in her field. I'll still be up there doing government affairs, but it's an emotional time for me because, as you all know, I love this club with all my heart. And, you know, you guys, sorry, but you guys saw me grow up from when I was just starting my career. And, you know, who would have thought that a lunch with Mr. Dorsett at the City Club would come with all you guys and everything you guys have shown me, and showed me service above self, and all the friendships, even some of your kids, you know, some of my closest friends, and you know, helped me get my first government affairs job at McGuire Woods, to, you know, help me with my internship when I started the first internship program, HBCU intern program in Wells Fargo history, and you guys were there through all of it. And I just appreciate each and every one of you, all your help along the way.
Thank you. Thank you, Corey. 11 years in this club, he told me a little bit ago. James.
Well, I too have a reason to get emotional because I waited 53 years for the Knicks to win another championship. So that's what I
53 years. Thank you, James. Here's some over here. Addie.
I am giving $2 because a few weeks ago, me and my team went to Santa Fe and we won some awards for our communications work.
Yeah.
And I get to be on the board again for comms for NEA.
Congratulations, Maddie. Congratulations. Here's James. All right, James. Yeah. Oops, I'm sorry.
This is an exceptional opportunity to for this club. How it just every day in everything we do, we lift up community, right? And think of all that's going on that we've got the opportunity to be happy about. The hurricanes on a global basis brought more publicity to the Triangle than we could ever pay for. I don't believe there's enough money in the world to bunch advertising. Maybe, but who knows? But that was a tremendous economic development tool, wasn't it? If you think about it, just break it down. Next thing is, in that spirit of community, all of us have dropped all of our allegiances to the various universities and so forth, and come together to say, "Go Heels! Go Heels!" Tonight, 7 o'clock, Heels!
All right, thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. Jim Graham, UNC baseball, 7 o'clock. Go ahead. Oh, there's Richard.
I've got two. First, I wanted to lift up our fellow Rotarian, Shakima. It was about 3 weeks ago. She graduated from Leadership Triangle. I don't know if you're not familiar with the program. It's an intense 10-week course run by the Fletcher Foundation, and she completed the, which I always tell people makes you a better citizen and a deep understanding of our community. So congratulations. And also wanted $1 for John Cates. So I don't know if you knew this or not, but John's actually got a real job that's not Rotary. I know it may seem like it is, but he's actually a wonderful realtor. And if any of you know, I lost my brother-in-law abruptly last October, left my sister in financial peril. But thanks to heard some Tommy and Tom and some advice, and finally John helped close this estate last week. And she is starting her new life in Wilmington, and part of that, and our family's very grateful. So thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Richard. John Cates. There. Heels. Go Heels. Go Heels.
Okay. All right, I won't say go here. I got $10. Happy thoughts, and I got a few. First one is for Harrison for your year. Thank you very much. It was fabulous. The second is for the Canes. I moved here. My son-in-law immediately talked me into buying season tickets, and we got the Stanley Cup. Can't get any better than that. Third one is my daughter flew in from Denver and surprised me for Father's Day. I thought that was absolutely fabulous. And day this year.
Congratulations, Tom. That's great. Anyone else? President Harrison, happy?
Probably one of the best happy dollar segments we've ever had. That's so good. That's awesome. Good stuff happening. That's awesome. All right. Well, with forward in our presentation, make sure that Tom has plenty of time to talk. We want to go ahead and bring up Tom Weber. Tom, you have been just jumped headfirst into our club. Transition from a club down in Florida. You have just kind of jumped into helping out with foundation. You have already become just an integral part of our club. So outside of just saying something about you, you are a wonderful friend, a wonderful Rotarian for our club, and we're so grateful for you to be here. And I'm excited to hear you speak today about the Sustainable Cambodia Project. But just as a real quick, for those who might not know about Tom, he was a fire chief in Manor, Connecticut back in 1997. That's when he became the fire chief there. In 2003, he was hired as the fire chief in Port Orange, and you joined the Port Orange, South Dakota Rotary Club. You were Rotarian of the Year in 2008. You were club president in 2011. You served as an aide and you've just done everything Rotary. And outside of that, you got involved with this project back in 2005, or that's when it was established. So it's just celebrated past its 20th year. So with all that, we'd love to hear have you come up and speak about the Cambodia project. Tom.
Thank you. You got the slides. First slide. Okay. So in 2018, I was able to go to Cambodia and participate in the Sustainable Cambodia program. I'm going to take you through this. I'll try to pick it up a little bit because we're behind, but it's probably maybe close to the second largest international Rotary project you'll ever hear about outside of Polio Plus. There's over 120 clubs involved in it. So no further ado. So the story of Sustainable Cambodia, SC, started in a small school in 2000. And in 2003, it expanded to Rotary clubs to become a broad-based empowerment organization. It is a grassroots volunteers from the international side, and the only paid staff are the native Cambodians working in rural villages. All funding goes to the on-the-ground programs. How did it all begin? Richard Allen and his wife Susan Maston of the Rotary Club of Gainesville met Bruce Lasky. Bruce was a lawyer and public defender in Gainesville. Bruce visited Cambodia and went to a village where he found people living with no drinkable water. They hauled water from stagnant ponds. With no water for irrigation, they couldn't grow food. They really had nothing. Virtually all the village's families had been displaced, hundreds of miles from their original homes. Few remained who knew how to be anything other than subsistence rice farmers, and even their rice growing skills were poor. Hunger was rampant. Families were subsistence rice farmers didn't have the means to grow better food, nor the education to understand the need, and malnutrition was everywhere. Schools weren't available, but even if they had been available, families would not have been able to keep their children in school. Children had to look after their younger siblings. They had to carry water or work the fields. Dysentery hit every family every week. Life was brutal. Bruce created a small school. Initially, there were to be 20 students. Within a month, there were 64 students. but the model wasn't sustainable. By 2003, it was obvious something more sustainable was needed. The villages were like families across Cambodia. The Khmer Rouge had left the country devastated. You likely know of the Khmer Rouge. 2 to 3 million Cambodians died during their reign. Everyone with an education or exposure to Western culture was either killed or escaped if you were killed. If you wore glasses, you were killed. Finally, after several years, the Khmer Rouge were routed by the Vietnamese, and most of the rank and file Khmer Rouge returned to the villages. But the aftermath, there was no safe water and little food. When this is when Rotarians co-created Sustainable Cambodia. Rotarians from Florida worked with Bruce, other volunteers, and Rotary clubs across the world to create a broad-based empowerment model for village development and village schools. Aid was not the answer. There was the need to create a model based on true empowerment, one that would help village families become self-sustaining, where they would be able to educate their children and rebuild their lives and their country. Beginning in 2004, NGOs around the world were studied to find the best solution for empowerment and building self-sufficiency. On a 2005 trip, Tim Sorrell, a videographer with the Rotary Club of Gainesville, traveled with SC co-founders Richard Allen and Susan Maston to film short videos to document the conditions. While on site in 2005, our visiting Rotarians explained Rotary to some of the local community leaders. They explained that more than 1.2 million members across 160 countries at that time all dedicated service above self. The message of service above self resonated with the Cambodians, perhaps especially because it was a largely Buddhist country. In any event, this led to the formation of the Rotary Club of Pursat in 2006, the first all-Cambodian Rotary Club. Today, more than 120 clubs around the world are engaged as part of Sustainable Cambodia. Over time, the development model has evolved with input from village families. It's truly an empowerment-based model. There are two main thrusts: village development and education. Neither is sustainable without the other. The village development side helps the families create safe water, latrines, sanitation, and income generation from alternative agriculture, which enables them to keep their children in school. The education side creates preschools in the villages, which feed local community schools, and which in turn feed our large supplemental schools for grades 3 through 12, and ultimately university scholarships. Everything starts by meeting with the village families. They create a Village Development Committee, VDC, which chooses which programs to be launched in their village. They organize all the work needed for the projects. The families further into self-help groups for training and support. The training process takes around 6 months. The VCs oversee the installation of wells. They choose the locations. Local families gift the land for the community wells. Each well can serve from 4 to 15 families on average. The local families participate in the labor required to install the well, and they are trained in maintaining them with local material. Each family or small cluster of families in a program installs a biosand filter, which will give them safe drinkable water for years. If you're not familiar, a biosand filter was originally developed by a Canadian NGO and was introduced to Sustainable Cambodia through our Calgary, Canada Rotary clubs. Each filter is built on site, constructed of local materials. The tanks hold various substrates of gravel and sand, which over a few weeks of initial use create a biological filtration system that removes organic contaminants. The water from a filter is very safe and pure. And we drank it all the time when we were on site. It was pretty good. Each family also chooses where to install a latrine. The construction is like a septic tank with 2 small underground chambers. The family pays a small copay for the underground portion, and they are responsible for building the above ground part. In either case, it provides a necessary level of sanitation. The village preschools and small community schools, the latrines are larger and nicer, and rooftop rainwater tanks are installed, each holding 4,000 liters of water from the rainy season. The rooftop rainwater tanks are also built on site by SCTs. We employ an animal pass-on program, which modeled after the Heifers International program. The most useful animals are cows and water buffalo. The Animal Pass-On program empowers families. This is organized through the self-help groups, each made up of 3 to 6 families. 1 or 2 families in each group receives an animal, and the group shares in the animal. When the animals have offspring, the family caring for it passes on the progeny to another family, so the families become donor families themselves. In alternative crops and composting, and we help with seed stock and tools. The result is sustainable income for the families. Long-term sustainability comes from having educated children who grow into leadership. Education provides the intergenerational change needed to improve life across the country. The education program begins with preschools in the villages. The preschools were originally requested by the first village committee groups. They allow mothers to work during the day while the children get a head start on learning. Rotary clubs around the world sponsor the Hot Meals program in the pools, where the children get a good protein-rich porridge of vegetables, fish, and oils. They love it. And it helps keep the children coming. The other thing that was quite interesting, once they learned, they didn't want to stop. In the preschools, the village community schools, the children learn social skills as well as beginning consumer language, English. As children progress to in areas where a government school is too far away, or into larger enrichment schools. SC does not compete with the government schools. Where a government school exists, supplemental education is provided for the most need students. That supplemental education is teaching English. Beyond normal classroom studies, students learn more about food, nutrition, and health. School libraries are designed creatively with books arranged in a manner that encourages students to choose and read them. The libraries become the beating heart of the schools. Community schools in hard-to-reach areas where no government school exists become feeder schools for our enrichment schools as children grow older. The preschools and community schools are often built by groups of young volunteers coordinated by Rotary clubs. After a few years, there are often converted to government schools when a government wishes to reach the village. I'm not sure how many we've built so far, but we've built quite a schools from preschool all the way up to 12, grade 12. And they're run by Rotarians. SC enrichment schools have from 250 to 500 students from grades 3 to 12. Schools have computer centers where the students learn computer skills and get to interact with the world, expanding their horizons. For girls who live too far from home to commute daily, we provide girls' dormitories. And I'll talk a little bit about that more at the end and tell you how you can participate in that program. Youth clubs have been established in every school. Based on Rotary with rotating annual officers, the youth clubs perform community service projects and learn project management and public speaking skills. Nearly all youth club members go on to university. SC offers full scholarships to graduating 12th grade students to attend Cambodia universities. The cost of Cambodia University is under $500, and there have been more than 350 scholars go to university. You can participate by going to sustainablecambodia.org and adopting a student for $500 and put them through their first year university. It's a wonderful opportunity. My family and I have been doing it since we went. It's great. All of this together creates sustainable change. The combination of village empowerment, family health and income generation, community service and pass on, and education produces true sustainability through the Rotary principle of service above self. Some stats on what we've been able to accomplish. Since SC began in 2005, more than 25,000 souls have benefited from across to water via wells, rooftop rainwater systems, or community ponds. 2,500 biosand filters have been built in village homes, and more than 1,500 latrines have been installed. More than 40,000 villagers have been able to create a sustainable income through alternative agriculture, victory gardens, and community ponds. 35 villages are part of the program, many of which are now graduate villages that pass on what they learn to other villages. More than 5,500 youngsters have been through Sustainable Cambodia's school and education projects. 30%, how do we fund it? 30% are child sponsors, what I have just been speaking of. 25% are board members and supporters. 15% are club and district grants, and 30% are global grants. What are the outcomes? Trainings for village development groups, trainings for self-help groups, wells and water filters, community ponds, rooftop rainwater harvesting, gardens, pass on cows and buffaloes, animal raising and vaccinations, community preschools from grades 1 through 12. Okay, one more. We maintain a balance. They have one more. We maintain a balance of more than 50% of girls and young women in SC schools. Youth clubs, based on Rotary, develop leadership and instill the spirit of community service and giving back. SC now has 16 generations university scholars. More than 400 international volunteers have devoted 4 to 12 months each on site, sharing their love, leadership, and dedication to service. There's actually dormitories for Rotarians to go there and spend extended periods of time volunteering at the schools in Prasad. The majority of our SC management team is now made up of former SC students who began in SC primary schools and went on to join youth club, then received university scholarships from SC, and have now returned to lead the organization. This is a true generational change. Young leaders who understand empowerment, sustainability, passing it forward, and the Rotary principles of service above self. Rotary organizes several trips by Rotarians from all around the world each year, bringing not only support but inspiration for all. That was one of the trips that I took. You can see our group right there, and cut off is my daughter, Sarah. I guess you see her here. And the interesting thing about this is this trip costs $900 all inclusive for 10 days in Cambodia. Your first 5 days, you're actually a tourist, and they bus you and take you all around the country to see the history of Cambodia. The next 5 days, you'll work in the school or the villages and become part of Sustainable Cambodia. It was just a fabulous opportunity and experience. They run these trips 3 times a year, usually November and twice in one in January, one in February, because that's the best non-rainy season time to go. And it's life-changing. It really is. It's changed the lives of myself, my daughter. Like I said, we've sponsored children since we came back. And we continue to sponsor children. I can say last year, the hope is you will join Rotary. We will host you, or join one of our Rotarian-led journeys, or be a volunteer. Either way, we will meet the families and the children and have an experience unlike any other in your life, and you would do a world of good. You can go 2 more slides. Questions? Yeah, one more. So that's the clubs that are participating as on the leadership board and on the board of directors. And you can see it is from all over the world. When my daughter and I traveled, we had Rotarians from Canada, Australia, Hungary, New York, New York, you know, kind of same thing. New York and Florida from ourselves. And it was just an experience meeting Rotarians from around the world. I have since traveled to 2 international conventions, and Rotary always has a booth at or Sustainable Cambodia always has a booth convention. And it was great to see people there that I saw on our trip. Questions?
Annual funding budget.
You're killing me now. I didn't look that up. I'd have to get back to you on that. Because again, it's all self-sustaining, and the money that's raised through the grants is just forwarded right to the program. And I think we get from Rotary every year.
We were pounding them out because they were so cheap, safe, and reliable. First thing.
Yep.
The second question is mentioning university. Seems like such a rural country. What do they do?
You know, the degrees were basically, they were wide open to come back and run this program. The board that is in place were almost 100% graduates from the program in university, and they've come back. That was the whole idea of sustainability. They have to go to university in Cambodia, and then their responsibility is to go to Cambodia and work. A lot of them are working in the capital and pushing these efforts there. Quite interesting to see that we're totally welcomed by the government in Cambodia, because we don't step on our toes. We're prepping these areas and these villages for the government to come in and then manage those programs. Right. Yes, yes. Everything, the villages get to decide where they want to go once they've established their VDCs. And almost all of them want a well. And with the well comes the biosand filters. Now they have drinkable water. And from there, then they see what their land can produce best. And it might be crop, it might be rice, but they're learn how to do rice a lot better, or they move into the cattle aspect. I had a guy on our trip, an entrepreneur. Everybody uses batteries because for scooters, or he built a generator so that he could charge and fix. He can recharge everybody's battery. So they bring in the battery and he get a couple bucks a charge, and that was his business that he created. It was quite unique to see.
Seems like $900 cost for going over there.
It paying for your airfare, For the 10 days, it's $900 for all the buses, food, hotel. The accommodations were basically 2-star. And the food was, you ate out all the time. It was fast. Oh, no airfare. No, you got to look for a sale. It's a long ride over. Any other questions? Well, look at that, 1:30.
Tom, thank you so much. I'm always blown away by the work that Rotary does, but also the for those who might be new Rotarians or that might not know. I mean, there's so many different opportunities for Rotarians to get involved locally as well as internationally, and everybody that's done. I mean, I know Kevin with his projects down in South America. I mean, it's life changing, right? And it's always an honor to give the Rotary Club of Raleigh mug to one of our Rotarians who are presenting. So thank you so much for that today, sir, and thank you for enlightening us.
One other thing too, if you sponsor a child, you get quarterly reports how the child's doing, and you can communicate with the child you sponsor.
That's awesome. Wonderful. Tom, thank you again, sir. All right, Rotarians. Want to say thank you again for being here today. Look forward to seeing everybody for next week's. We're going to stand for our 4-way test. Corey, before we leave, once again, thank you so much for your years of dedication to Rotary. I think it's only fitting. Would you be willing, I know putting on your spot, would you be willing to lead us out on the way test? Got it? Okay. All right. I just want to try it. Of the things we think, say, and do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? We are dismissed.